Well, good morning, folks. Welcome back to the farm. It's chilly this morning. Oh boy, there's a lot of frost on the old pumpkins this morning, but that's okay. It's not going to slow us down. Well, no, it's going to slow us down, but it's not going to stop us from doing anything, that's for sure. So yesterday started on a little project in the barn, building a small kind of 8x10 little mezzanine play area over the front door in the barn. Got the frame, just the outline of it done, and then we went off, took the girls skating. So it was a pretty good day yesterday, actually, and really never got any of the other stuff on the list accomplished. So I'm gonna go back into the barn here shortly and try to put up some joists, maybe do some floorboards. But I'm going to grab the Tiger torch right now that I left over by the garden, because that's what I do. I finish something 3/4 and then I leave all my crap out where I, can just sit there and rot. Yeah, I know, it's a me problem. Anyways, I'm gonna gather that up. I'm gonna take it over to the front gate at the end of the driveway, and I'm gonna burn off a little bit of grass there beside the front gate where the dogs are going under and through and getting out onto the main road, because we're closing the gate to keep them in, but they're going through that buffalo wire. So I'm gonna do, I got a short little chunk of 4" by 4" page wire for the sheep that I'm gonna string over that elephant walking trail that they've made to, maybe they'll just find somewhere else to go through, but if I can block it off by the gate, they're less likely to go further down the yard to try and find a way. They really want to go in, or go out, I should say, by the front gate. So if we can eliminate the potential for them to get out kind of right there, maybe, just maybe, they'll stay where they're supposed to stay. So this is my spot right here. You can see the trail. And then there's lots of this hair on here. Most of this was actually wool. I think we actually, at one point in time, we had some lambs that were getting out. And I put this post on here, and it was jammed in just to try to, thin the gap a little bit. But they pulled it out of the ground, and then they just push it to the side, and they got full unrestricted access through there. Now, I don't know, for a 180-pound dog or whatever that is, it seems like a pretty tight squeeze, but nevertheless, they're making it through. So I was going to get some of that 4" page wire and put it on here, but I got to thinking, like, hey, it's going to look like dog shit. And, if they can push stuff aside, they're probably going to push that aside too. So unless I'm going to put a whole pile of hay wire on this thing and hodgepodge it up, and it's not going to be that great. So down in the pastures, what I've done on that bottom row, in some spots where, they're broaching through or they're lifting it up, is I stick a board through and I kind of weave it through the wire. And that's been very successful in mitigating unwanted escapes. So I got an old 1x6 here that I dug out of the shop. Now, 1x6 is a precious commodity around here for arts and crafts, but this one is, you can make an airplane propeller out of this thing. It's so twisted up. So we're not going to use it for a project. So I might as well create some value around here. So there you go. Not complicated. You can really see the path, that they took there. So that's just a bit of an obstruction. Now, hopefully what they don't do is just come up and go through the next one, which I could definitely foresee them doing that too, but I guess we could always stack another board up there and just make it so they'd really have to jump up a thing. But we'll see what they do here first. Well, I just had a quick warm-up break in the shop there. The old fingies were starting to get cold. Bit of a whiner, eh? And while I was in there, so it's a funny story. While I was in there, I was just, quickly scrolling through TikTok, looking at, what's the internet worrying about today? Apparently the internet was worrying about me today. I got a super fan on TikTok named Berm. I don't know what kind of a name that is, but anyways, he's commenting all caps, like just a shouty talker, hey? Saying that this guy whines about everything, and yet he brags about buying a vehicle outside the province and ripping the province off on sales tax. And I don't really take that. I'm either gonna snap back, or I'm just gonna delete it. And I should have snapped back, but instead I deleted it. So now it's gone forever. But I really wish I would have left it there for the whole world to see, because just the idiocy, like when you come from Alberta and you go to BC has a sales tax. So it's kind of the other way around. Now, we didn't have to pay the sales tax in British Columbia because we're from Alberta and we take delivery at the border. But that's not ripping BC off. And it's definitely not ripping Alberta off because we don't have a sales tax here. So we're not eligible, we're not required to pay a sales tax. So not paying a sales tax that you're not eligible to be paying is not ripping anybody off. Man, the internet's a tough place some days. Anyways, weirdos on the internet aside, I just caught this big fella. I went in the barn for a couple minutes to work on some stuff, come out, and he was missing. Where did he go? I seen him bounding down the road outside the fence there. So I called him back. That's perfect. Now I can see exactly what you're getting through. Nowhere near the gate. So whatever theory I proposed earlier, nonsense. That's not true at all. He was as far from the gate as he could possibly be in the yard, actually. Top corner. So let's go see if he's let. Oh, it looks like there is a trail over here. So I might have to jam some sticks in somewhere else. Oh yeah, look at this right here. That is a very well-defined pathway through there. And not only is the wire broached, it's actually, there's no staple there. And the wire itself is actually lifted up. Fantastic. That I can deal with. That I can come and patch with a nice big board. You'll stay home, buddy. The challenge is, I mean, we want the dog, both dogs actually, to be able to leave the yard in terms of like predator management. So chase something off, right? But typically we want that like towards the south, out to the north where they can bug somebody else, chase their chickens, worry their cows. We don't want that. That's not cool. There. That ain't going anywhere. Hopefully the dog doesn't either. Anyways, with the dog secured, back to the task at hand. So I'm just getting the floor joists put in. You can see up there. Yeah, there's better. For the kids' mezzanine slash playhouse, fort, whatever you want to call it. It's coming along quite nicely, actually. Plenty of room for activities. And structurally heavy enough that, you know, I think in lambing season or whatever, if a guy needed to put a cot up there, catch a few Z's in between sets of twins, guy probably could do that. Might get a little chilly up in that corner. There's no insulation or nothing, but again, that's not to say that a guy couldn't do something. Throw up some insulation, throw a little quick space heater or something in there, put a window in, you know. I don't know. Could be a playhouse, could be a doghouse. Be multifunctional. All right, we're in the big tractor here now. We're gonna go load up a bale feeder for the father-in-law for his bulls. We've been using some of those round bale feeders in the last couple of years. We've had to go over there with a grinder and sawzall, cut them big bulls' heads out of there because they seem to have a way of getting stuck in there. We got the one here that he brought in the spring. It's made out of, I think, 2 3/8 pipe or something like that. It's a lot easier for them to get their head out of. You got a little helper here with me. What do you got there, Charlotte? Tractor cookies? They're the best kind of cookies. Keep a box of cookies in here for when the kids come to help. It's like a reward, a little incentive to maybe come out, spend some quality time with Dad, away from the iPad or the TV or whatever their mother's wits end might be. All right, so back in the shop here now, and I was opening the door and walking past the tractor, and I had one of the strangest observations I've ever had since owning this thing, and it was this nut right here. You see that where it's kind of like shiny right there? And it caught my eye like a raven, like, ooh, shiny. Knowing that it shouldn't be shiny, right? I should not be able to see internal thread on a nut. So then I got to looking, and oh, that's loose, that's loose, that's loose, that's loose, that's loose, that's loose, that's tight, that's loose, that's loose. You know, so there's the wheel is just hanging on to the hub there by thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. So we're gonna get the Ugga Dugga machine out here. We're gonna tighten that back on because you imagine working on the side of that hillside hauling a bale or lifting that bale feeder off, for instance, and then they just have the wheel fall off. Like the only thing I would ever have that would be big enough to pick this thing up would be this thing, right? And if it's missing a wheel, wowee, I'd be calling in a neighbor for a helping hand there. So we'll get that tight. I want to go for a cup of coffee and a biscuit here first, and then I'll come back out and tighten that up. Just up here on top of the barn. It's coming along, but I was screwing away there and come across this one. I was like, why won't it thread in? Because it's got all the right hardware there, but like it identifies as a nail, no threads. So I wouldn't. It'd be hard, not so hard. I wouldn't even use it as a nail. But I might pound it in for a coat hook or something like that. Anyways, I think the kids are gonna love it up here. There's gonna be not only room for activities, but like I think we might have to put like the old love seat up here or something, like a little seating area, some coloring books, some Matchbox cars. They're gonna have the time of their life up here. Well, I got the decking finished there. I got a heck of a mess up here, but I'm just getting onto the handrail here. And I think we're gonna do 2x4 coming down. That'll keep it nice and clean. Keep anybody from falling out and breaking an arm or a leg. And then we got a nice 2-foot opening here. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna build stairs or a ladder. Or I actually have an old aluminum ladder that is one of those bifold ladders. Actually, it's a quad-fold ladder. Yeah, that ladder right there. It's about, I had it leaning up against the sea can, but about 3 years ago, I backed up real close to the sea can with the tractor and touched the ladder ever so gently. And as you can see, my what's ever so gently to me was not ever so gently to the ladder. But so I mean, it's pretty much useless, but one side of it's still good, so maybe that'll work. I'm just not sure if it's long enough yet.